We now determine the horizontal intercept and vertical intercept of the rational function f of x equals 3 over 8 minus 8x. So horizontal intercept, otherwise known as x-intercept, and this is a point on the graph of the f of x, where the graph of the f of x intersects the x-axis. So to determine this, we have to replace f of x by 0. That is, it is y equal to 0. So let's replace f of x by 0 and solve for x. And so this becomes 0 equals 3 over 8 minus of 8x. We divide both sides by this expression 8 minus 8x. So 0 times 8 minus 8x equals 0, and we get 0 equals 3. And this is not true, which means it does not have solution. So we say that there is no horizontal intercept for this rational function f of x. Now let's determine the vertical intercept. This is otherwise known as y-intercept, and this is a point on the graph of the f of x, where the graph of the f of x intersects the y-axis. So to find the y-intercept, we put x equal to 0 and solve for y. So let's do that. So we get f of x equals, replace x by 0. So we have 3 in the numerator, and we have to replace this x by 0. So therefore this becomes 8 minus of 8 times of 0, and this gives 3 divided by 8. And so this is approximately 0.38 when rounded to the nearest 100. So let's give this y-intercept in ordered form. So we put x equal to 0, and this y-intercept, that is the value of y, is 0.38, and this is the y-intercept in ordered form for this function f of x. Let's determine horizontal intercept of this rational function g of x equals 5x minus 4 over negative 3x negative 6. So we have to put f of x equal to 0. Here the function is g of x. So we can write this as replace g of x by 0 and solve for x. So if I put g of x equals 0, I get 0 equals 5x minus 4, and this is divided by negative 3x negative 6. Now I multiply both sides by this denominator expression, and so therefore on the left side 0 times of this denominator expression becomes 0, and this equals 5x minus 4. Now let's solve for x from this equation. First I add 4 to both sides, so I get 5x equals 4, and so I divide by 5 on both sides, so it gives x equals 4 fifth, or this is equal to 0.8. So we see that the horizontal intercept is zero point 0.8, and so we can give this in ordered pair form. That is, we put the x first, which is zero point 0.8, and y is 0 here. So this is the horizontal intercept of this function g of x in ordered pair form. Now let's determine the vertical intercept. So once again, we have to replace x by 0 and determine the corresponding value of y. So first, let me copy the g of x. So we have g of x equals 5x minus 4 over negative 3x negative 6. Now we have to replace x by 0 and determine y, or g of x. So we get g of x, and this equals 5 times of 0 minus 4 divided by negative 3 times of 0 negative 6, and so this gives this becomes 0, and this also becomes 0. So in the numerator we have negative 4 divided by the denominator negative 6. These two negatives gets cancelled, and so this is 4 6, or this reduces to 2/3, and this is approximately 0.67 Once again, this is rounded to the nearest 100. So we will now put this in ordered pair form. Since for vertical intercept x is 0, we put the x 0 first and then put the y value, which is g of x here. So that is 0.67, and we put this in bracket form. And so this is the vertical intercept of this function g of x. Let's find the horizontal intercept of this function f of x equals 4x plus 5 divided by negative 2x. So we replace f of x by 0 and solve for x. So 0 equals 4x plus 5 divided by negative 2x, and this implies I multiply both sides by negative 2x. 0 times negative 2x is 0, and this side on the right side we get 4x plus 5. Now I subtract 5 from both sides and rearrange for 4x, so I get 4x equals negative 5. Dividing by 4, I get x equals negative 5 over 4, and this is approximately equal to negative of 1.25. And so we can put this horizontal intercept in ordered form. That is, x is negative 1.25, and then for horizontal intercept, y or f of x is 0. So this is the ordered form of horizontal intercept for this function f of x. Now let's find the vertical intercept of this function. And for this, we have to put x equal to 0 and solve for y. So let's do that. Let me copy the function first, that is f of x, and this equals 4x plus 5 divided by negative 2x. So we have to put x equal to 0 and solve for y or f of x. So I write f of x, and this equals 4 times of 0 plus 5 divided by negative 2 times of 0. And so this becomes 0, that is 0 plus 5 is 5 in the numerator, and negative 2 times of 0 is 0. So we see that 5 is 0. This does not exist. We can put this as D and E. And so therefore we say that vertical intercept does not exist for this function.